over the last 10 years, I have gone through a lot of changes within my business, a lot of ups and downs in my relationships, a lot of ups and downs with finances, with friendships, with work, and everything in between. But let's rewind it back to school. I was always the man who knew he would always do well. I always knew I had some untapped skills and potential. And it wasn't known to me back then. I was young and naive, but I always knew I had some form of leadership qualities, even when I was younger. I was always in leadership positions, even when I didn't think that I was capable of being in that leadership position. I remember I was house captain of our school sports groups. Everyone in Australia has school sports, and it's like blue house, gold house, red house, and green house. So I was like blue house captain, as voted by my peers. And then towards the later years of school in year 12, like the last year of school, I was voted by my peers to be the school captain. So it wasn't just that I knew I had leadership qualities. I portrayed that out into the world, and the people around me knew that I had those qualities within myself. And this sort of leads me into post-school sort of era, like the 2014, 2015 era of my life, where I was playing footy at a good level. I was playing good cricket. I had a girlfriend at the time, a steady relationship, and I started PT. I got my PT certificates, and I thought, yes, this is exactly the job that I want to do. This is a great career for me. I'm so into sport. I'm so into fitness and health. I'm a great leader, so I'm able to guide these people on their weight loss journey or on their strength journey, and that was huge for me. We fast forward a few years, and I started to, thrive in business. I was fully booked out as a PT, and things were going really, really well for me. And it was a credit to my work ethic. I put in the work, I put in the hours, and I really strive to help these people. And the results spoke for themselves. My results were incredible. I was helping, I remember one client, I helped her lose 60 odd kilos or something like that. And she was able to then get pregnant, and she gave birth to twins. And it was one of the best stories that came out of my PT career. And then I've also had PT clients who I've inspired so much that they've then gone on to become PTs themselves and get fully booked out. And it's just so cool to hear those stories and to be able to be a part of that. So I always knew I was destined to help people in some way. Then we got to the point where I was like, I really want to open my own facility. It was another dream of mine to have my own gym. So I really started knuckling down and getting all this planned out, and got to a point in 2016 where I started initiating the plans to open it up. And business in PT was great, still absolutely thriving in my personal training business. Started getting permits sorted for the gym opening, and finding buildings and getting equipment and all of this kind of stuff, and had a relationship at the time. And then I started to portray myself as someone that was super successful, and I had this whole identity thing going where I needed to show everybody that I was doing really, really well. And that was my whole persona. I'd wake up and I'm like, I need to make sure that everybody knows I'm doing well. And that meant that every conversation that I'd have with someone, I would not tell them anything negative that was going on in my life. I would just hide all that shit away. I'm like, no, they need to see that I'm doing really well. And I made sure that every interaction I had, I would tell them how great things were going, and all the stuff I was putting on social media and amping up my gym, saying it was going to be the greatest gym the town had ever seen, and the equipment was going to be amazing, and the facilities were going to be great, and the value we were going to be provided was going to be something they'd never seen before, and just all these great success. And then my relationship fell apart. The equipment that I'd ordered and spent a bunch of money on, hardly any of it showed up. The company went under, lost a bunch of money, and then all of my gym plans got thrown into chaos. And on paper that doesn't sound that bad, but because I'd put so much emphasis on my image and my identity, I didn't want anybody to see me as a failure. That was the worst part for me. I was like, no, people need to see that I'm doing good enough. And I pretty much had all of that ripped out from underneath me. So this led to me instantly not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, not feeling capable, and that everyone would be looking down on me as a failure, and I just simply could not handle that. I ended up trying to attempt suicide, and obviously I say attempt because it didn't work. My dad actually walked into the room and I had a resistance band tied around my neck, and I was just ready to end everything right there. Then from that moment, it was kind of like a switch flipped in me. I knew that I had to keep pushing forward to get this gym open. That was my whole focus. So I pretty much just shoved everything down so that I didn't have to deal with it right then and there. Opened the gym. Gym was super successful again, still not dealing with any of my stuff. Went through relationship after relationship, and it ended up making me resent women because I was like, no, women are the problem. Women are out to get me. I can't be the problem. I'm great. Look at me. I'm super successful. And that was my whole mindset. So I know what it's like to shove shit down because you're not courageous enough and you're not strong enough to face it, to be able to work on it, because it's like a slow poison that is seeping into your body, and eventually it's going to seep out into your life and shit's going to start going wrong. So I finally got to a point in my life where I decided that I needed to stop, slow down, and actually look inwards to start working on myself. So I started doing yoga, I started doing handstands, more stretching rather than my normal strength training, my normal routine. I slowed down, went inwards, started feeling into my body a lot more, understanding what was going on for myself, and I revisited that time where I attempted suicide. And I realized that I didn't actually have the strength to die in that moment. So on the flip, what I did realize is that if I didn't have the strength to die in that moment, I must have the strength to live. So if I've got the strength to live, what does that look like for me? And it was like one of those epiphany moments where everything all of a sudden made sense, and everything changed for me in that moment. And this is where I get to the point in my journey where I realize that I am the man to help other men live a strong life, live a life of clarity and commitment and strength in all areas. And this is where I decided I needed to sell my gym and get rid of it, and I needed to start coaching men. And I also met the most amazing woman that I've ever met in my life because I decided to slow down. I started to finally love myself and realize that I was worthy. And Grace, my beautiful wife, just all of a sudden like showed up in my life. It is one of those like cliche kind of love stories where she just showed up. And now we're married, we have 2 beautiful kids, and our relationship is something that people look up to. And I never thought that I would have that if I'm reflecting on relationships that I've been through, because they sucked back in the day. And now we've got people asking for advice from our relationship and what we do and how we do things, because we've put the work in to live such a loving and connected and strong relationship with each other. And the men that I've worked with, to be able to take them from a place of feeling so uncertain within themselves, not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, and have no idea what they're actually doing in their life, and taken to a place of such clarity, commitment, and strength, and literally light coming out of their eyes, is the most beautiful thing. Because if I go back 10 years and I look at where I was, and there's men that are out there still that are in that period of their life where they're thinking that the only option that they've got, because they don't feel good enough or worthy, is to end their life, I know that I can help them, because I've been there and I've got lived experience to going through the whole thing and making sure that I understand how I was feeling in all of those moments, and implementing the steps that I did to be able to get to the point where I'm at now, where I'm running my own business. I have 2 beautiful children. I have an amazing wife, and I wake up every day loving the things that I'm doing and the life that I've created. So if you've gotten this far in this video, thank you. And if you're a man watching this and you're ready to step up and live a life of clarity, commitment, purpose, and honestly have light beaming out of your eyes, maybe it is to live with a relationship that you've always dreamed of, to find your dream woman. Maybe you want to have kids, but you don't feel like you're quite capable enough to be a father just yet. This is all of the work that I do. This is what Invictus is all about. Reach out to me, send me a message, we'll get you started.